And here we are. A very good Tuesday morning to you. It is Drive Time Radio. And know we're running a couple of minutes late. We're having the usual bizarre difficulties that we are trying to fix as we speak, but we are getting them fixed, and hopefully we'll have everything up and ready and running for 8:30 when NWAPA President Tom Vogt joins us, and we'll get a chance to talk a bit more about the award winners and the cars that won. For those of you who may not be familiar with what is going on right now, and don't worry yourself because I'm a little unfamiliar with it myself. But what we tried to do this morning, or what I tried to do this morning, and Tom and I, is put together a quick little show that would reach the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time. And we were hoping to put a little pizzazz in it with, just an announcement of what cars won our annual Drive Revolution event that is held down at the Alani Casino in beautiful Ridgefield, Washington, home of Washington's only In-N-Out Burger. And in a very nice, small, one of the fastest growing towns in Washington. As a matter of fact, it's kind of sad what's going on down there in a lot of ways because the town is just exploding as a suburb of Portland. It's about 20 miles, I guess, a little less than 20 miles north of Portland. And it's just exploded. It's a part of the world that nobody ever, that didn't live there much thought about. But now, you look at it and it's just exploding. They got a Costco, they got an In-N-Out Burger, they got everything that makes America great. And all it's doing is, they really didn't build the infrastructure before they put the roads, before they put the cars and the people and everything else in to this area. So you now have buildings that normally were an empty lot, which are now shopping malls and strip malls and all of these different mall type places, and a Costco, and they have hundreds of cars, thousands of cars in some cases going in and out each day. The line at the In-N-Out Burger in Ridgefield, I kid you not, on Friday night was somewhere in the vicinity of 10 deep. And I mean 10 rows deep. So consider that you should multiply it by 10 cars. So you're probably talking about 100 cars, 150 cars in line at any given time to get a hamburger and a shake. As a matter of fact, I dispensed with the hamburgers. I just said, you know what? Let's get the shakes and get out of here. Cut our losses. So we went back and we bought shakes for the people that were helping us out, working with us on Wednesday, and at least try to get them cooled down. It was a pretty hot day. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about urban planning and urban growth. I'm here to talk about the 2025 Drive Revolution. Drive Revolution 2025, as I said, was held at the Alani Casino, which is right down there by I-5 as you're heading toward Portland, or heading up on the left from Portland. And it gives a journalist or a person that is charged with reviewing cars for an entity a unique opportunity to get some seat time, a half hour, 25 minutes or so, in a car that either A, they might not normally drive, B, where all of these cars are together, as there was with a number of executives, I should say journalists that were there. I mean, we didn't have as many volume of cars as we have in years gone by, but what we did have, and which I loved, is we had a large number of battery electric and hybrid electric vehicles. The hybrid electric vehicles maybe being the future of this business right now. The battery electric vehicles, the flat electrics, clearly being one of the most impressive crops that I have seen of vehicles that I have seen. And we even still had, for good measure, 3 internal combustion engine vehicles thrown in there as well. We wanted to have a chance to see the ICE vehicles that the different manufacturers are putting out these days. And please, let me make one thing perfectly clear. The ICE vehicles, and ICE standing for internal combustion engine, the ICE vehicles are really not suffering at the hands, or at least, and these are all my opinions, but they are not suffering at the hands of electric vehicle. Nobody is saying, let's stop development, let's stop research, let's stop everything that's going on around ICE vehicles, and let's just pour everything into electric vehicles or some derivative of an electric vehicle. They're out there, they're being developed, they're being looked at, and they're being improved every second are these ICE vehicles. All vehicles right now. This is a great time to be in the car business. If you are in the car business, if you are a person who looks at cars, if you are a person that, writes about cars, works on cars, if you're a person that has anything to do with the sale and distribution of new cars, this is your revolution. This is it right here. This is that part of life that you waited for. If you ever sat in a classroom and said, boy, what will the future be like 25 years from now? This is it. It's here. What will the future be like 50 years from now? It's here. And it's exciting. And I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of graybeards like me especially, that want to sit around and just moan about, oh, electric vehicles. Oh, my God. Oh, good Lord. They're horrible. How could they let them on the road? Listen, they are the most exciting thing to happen in cars in a long, long time. And yeah, it takes some getting used to. And yeah, you got to figure out where the buttons are. And yeah, it starts a different way than you might be used to. But once you decide that you're going to stop complaining about these cars and start enjoying them and start to find out what the benefits are in these vehicles and become advocates for their development, you are going to find that you are living in the middle of a science fair. It's all happening. It's all happening right in front of you. So we're excited at Drivetime about the future. We're excited at Nawapa about the future, about where we're going with these vehicles, not only the electric vehicles, but all vehicles. Because I believe, as the owner of Drivetime Radio and a person that's been doing this for a number of years, that we are lucky enough, again, to live in a time and a place that people will be writing about for many, many, many years, that people will not be looking at with the disdain that we have managed in this country to take as daily medicine for anything that's revolutionary, anything that seems to be different than what we're used to. No, we are living in the middle of a beautiful, beautiful moment where there is something exciting to open up the internet page, your favorite website about cars, and read about every day. Every day. If you are one of our executives, if you are one of our PR people, if you are one of our people that call us up on a regular basis or send us emails on a regular basis and say, look at this, check this out. You got something to talk about every day. You have something to call somebody up and talk about every day, something exciting. All right. So, so the vehicles that were present at the event. The event, as I said, took place starting on really on Monday. The vehicles were trucked in and cleaned up and gotten ready for journalists to enjoy and to test on Monday at the parking garage of the Alani Casino. And let me just stick a word in right here for both of our companies that service us here in the Northwest. And that is Page One, which does a fantastic job at keeping us well informed and in cars, and and are a pleasure to work with as far as just making sure that we have what we need from the different car companies. And of course, there is the Hanson family, who do just such an incredible job with their firm, Drive Shop, which is another national firm that was started, as many of you know, right here in the Pacific Northwest many, many years ago. So congratulations to Aaron Kemp, to Aaron Hansen, to Lily Hansen, to all of the people who were down the staff of Page One and of Drive Shop for keeping us in what we needed. And might I say, also attending and helping out a somewhat sick New York Vinny in those 3 days. I was not in the best of shape, in the best of feeling with my health, and they helped me out. The staff there, the people there at those two firms, we have it as good, ladies and gentlemen, as anywhere in the country. When it comes to firms that service us as journalists, to make sure we get into cause, that make sure that we know what's going on, we have it unbelievable. And I've worked in different areas of the country, and I can tell you that. All right. So anyway, the vehicles assembled on Monday. Everybody got a chance to go down, take a look at them, see what was up, what was there, and get a chance to take a look at all of the cars that had been brought in by the manufacturers. And as I say, there were less vehicles this year than there may have been in the past, but there were some really unbelievable vehicles. Let me run down the list quickly of what we had and what the competitors were in this year's Drive Revolution 2025. Internal combustion engine category, we had the Mazda MX-5, Miata Club, the 25 Toyota GR Corolla Premium Plus, the 25 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line 4Motion. What a vehicle this is. I mean, you talk about the gasoline vehicle is alive, long live the gasoline vehicle. Just trot this out in front of your friends and show it to them. As far as battery electric vehicles, the 25, I should say, 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack was clearly one of the more popular vehicles in the Drive Revolution. 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E GT was a participant. The 26 Genesis GV60 Performance. The 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 Calligraphy Design. The 25 Jeep Wagoneer S Limited. The 2025 Kia EV6 GT Line All-Wheel Drive. The 2025 Lucid Air Pure. The 2025 Polestar 3 Dual Motor. And the 2025 Volkswagen ID Buzz First Edition. I'm befuddled, and I'm going to ask Tom Volk when we get him on this this program here in just a couple of minutes. What's going on? I'm just maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore because, and believe me, stop saying yes, all you out there, because I don't understand why the Volkswagen ID Buzz isn't a more popular uh, vehicle than it is. It is to me the second coming of the Volkswagen Bug. Remember all the excitement that was around the Volkswagen Bug when it came out? Well, why is it the ID Buzz, which looks like the the Volkswagen Bus, why isn't that as popular? Why isn't that vehicle? I have some thoughts, but I won't, and we're here not to not to slam them, but to praise them. But that's an interesting question. If you're an automotive journalist, or if you're somebody who is in vehicle development in Volkswagen, what is going on with this vehicle? Why is not this taking off? This should be the hippest thing in town. All right, and hybrid electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, the Hyundai Santa Fe hybrid calligraphy all-wheel drive, the Kia Sportage for 2026 hybrid SX Prestige all-wheel drive, and the 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander Nightshade hybrid. Those are the entrants to the Drive Revolution for 2025. We'll reveal the winners just a little after 8:30. We want to thank the manufacturers for their participation in this year's contest, and let you all know and thank you all for participating in Drive Revolution and participating in our different various programs that we hope to enlighten people in the Northwest about the vehicles that you provide for them, that you allow that you put out there, the vehicles that you point to the future and say these are the vehicles that will be what you and your neighbor are going to be standing in the driveway talking about over the next 10 years. Now, the way this works is over 2 days, we get an opportunity to get in these vehicles, spend approximately a half hour in these different vehicles, and test them out. There's no set course. There's no track. There's no place where you say, all right, I'm going to take this vehicle here and we're going to test every vehicle out equally and find out how it compares. No, this is a get in it, spend 25 to 30 minutes in it, get back to the garage so the next person can take that vehicle. And unfortunately, again, I have to apologize because I was pretty under the weather for Drive Revolution, and I was somewhat slow in getting in and out of cars, and somewhat slow in getting the car to the next person at times. I don't know how we wound up getting behind. I wound up getting so far behind schedule, but I apologize for that. It won't happen again next year for any of these other events. I don't know what happened. I just seem to be every second seem to be running a little bit later. But the way this works is you start at 9:00, you get in your vehicle, you drive vehicle number one. You spend a half hour driving that vehicle, and you go to vehicle number two. And you spend a half hour driving that vehicle, and you go to number three, and so on and so forth down the list until you drive your vehicles for that day. The next morning, after some falderall around the hotel, you get in the next morning's vehicles and you drive those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles on that list, spending a half hour of time in each vehicle. And So you're able to experience those vehicles um, for all their worth in different road conditions, up some curvy roads that you found. There are certain routes laid out, as in the book. You can also go and find your routes and use those to compare your vehicles. It's up to you. It's really kind of an independent thing. I spent a lot of time rolling through different streets in Ridgefield because I felt that there was a number of different streets there, and maybe that took me a little longer than it should have. But I just tried to get a clear view of what we were driving. So you drive the vehicles, you get them back there, and on uh, Thursday, you should have driven all of your vehicles by 11 o'clock. You turn in your ballot electronically, and poof, you're done. You get those ballots in, they are tabulated, they are all put together, and the winner is tabulated. And we have the winners. And let me congratulate Tom Volk and his crew of people who did a great job. I think his crew is himself, to be honest with you, who did a great job at not only running the event along with the people from Page One and Drive Shop, but also their ability to troubleshoot problems, their ability to deal with people who weren't exactly sticking to the schedule, myself included, and people who were needing of information, needing of some kind of special help for whatever reason, needing to have a car cleaned. Sometimes it's as simple as just getting a car cleaned so when a journalist gets in it, they can experience a clean car that will give them a good impression when they get into a car. So, the people from Page One and the people from Drive Shop, again, I can't say enough about what a great job that they did to make sure that the journalists got what they needed at this event. By the way, if you are watching this event and you would like to hashtag us on social media, you would like to acknowledge us on social media, you would like to send in your comments, pound Nawapa Drive Revolution is one way to go on Facebook. You can get us at Northwest Auto Press, NWAUTOPRESS, NW Auto Press on Facebook. On Instagram and X, you can get us at Nawapa_.org. That is Nawapa, NWAPA_org. And you can use those to tag us, to reach us, to give us your thoughts. And some of the other social media tags that we are using for Facebook and Instagram at page.one.auto, Facebook and Instagram at Drive Shop USA, and at Facebook and Instagram and X at the Alani Resort. Once again, that is at Alani Resort. And those will help the people that run those different entities get to the places where they can see that you have acknowledged their good work. Speaking about good work, here's a gentleman who always does good work, or I will always say he does good work when it comes to his reviews, which can be seen on his YouTube channel, Driven, in his stewardship of our organization, the Northwest Automotive Press Association, and just one of those guys that you want to have as your friend and living next door to you. Tom Volk is with us, the president of the Northwest Automotive Press Association. Good morning, Tom. How are you? Hang on one second. For some reason, we are not getting your unmute, Mike. Okay, why will we not unmute the mic? Add to state.
Got it?
There we go. Okay, I got out of it and got back into it, and there you are. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Vinny.
Thank you for doing this, Tom. I know it's short notice, but I thought it was important that we had some kind of public presence in getting this out to the millions of people who rely on us for for advice.
Millions. That's an understatement.
The car companies that rely on us for keeping their jobs. Many people in these companies right now.
Yeah. The industry is definitely in a bit of turmoil these days.
Yeah, it really is. You could sense, and I wanted to get to this a little bit more later, but I know that we're going to be short on time, so I'm going to have you a half hour, and I'm going to really make sure we pack a lot into it. Did you sense a general feeling among people that were at this event that there was a lot of pins and needles walking?
There's a lot of uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what's going on. I think that's really the only way to it's really the only way to describe it. And we had manufacturer reps at Drive Revolution. We had a bunch of journalists, 25. And, everybody will ask, we're writers, right? We want to know, what do the manufacturers think? And I think all of them just looked at us and went, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah.
This is an industry that there was a quote that somebody gave me back about 6 months ago. And they said, hey, look, generally, the government will say, hey, look, these are the rules. These are what we're going for. And then we find a way to comply. And they just have been saying, we don't know what the rules are anymore. It's that simple. We all want answers. We all want to know if the price of vehicles are going to go up. We want to know if it's going to affect which vehicles are available. For example, Hyundai or Genesis just recently canceled the electrified GV70. Nissan just recently canceled. They're not going to bring the Aria to the U.S. anymore.
That's huge.
It is huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, they're going to focus on the Leaf is their thought, but not to get deep in the weeds about it, but I believe prices are going to go up. I think right now the automakers are doing their best to insulate consumers from the costs that's going to cost them to make the cars. My theory is that the prices won't rise all that much, but the destination charge will go up $300, $500 because, oftentimes they'll say, you can now get the Chevrolet Trax for $24,000, $23,995. And, they can still say that. They just raise the price of the destination $300 to $500.
Right, excluding tax, license, and destination. They can play with that as much as they need to achieve a certain number. It's a very good point and something that you should have in your arsenal when you go out and shop for a car. Something that you should know about.
Yeah. So
something that you in previous years you might not think about, but now it becomes a several $100 point on a purchase of a vehicle. So it's definitely something to think about. Tom Volk is with us, the president of the Northwest Automotive Press Association. We are going to reveal in just a minute the winners of the categories. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different categories this year. Is that
Yeah,
less than years gone by? Did we cut it down, or is that just something
it's
I'm
it's it's the same. We didn't have a plug-in hybrid this year, which
ah,
was very surprising. The categories are best battery electric vehicle, best hybrid, best internal combustion engine, best value, and vehicle of the year.
so that's so
You want to you want to do the drum roll and reveal?
I'm going to leave you in charge of the drum roll, and why don't we? Why don't we start to get to the vehicles? Let's start with the. Let's go with the best. The old. Let's go with the old school. The best ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicle of the year. How about if I do the runner up and you do the winner?
Okay.
Will that work out? Okay. The runner up in this category was the 2025 Mazda MX-5 Miata, the Club Edition.
Yep.
What how much more in life can you expect than this vehicle? To roll out of bed in the morning, be lucky enough to roll into this thing and go for a ride in the sunshine or the rain, for that matter, in the country. Can you reasonably expect to have any more in life than that?
No. Well, okay, you're preaching to the choir because I own a first generation. I bought it
As
used
do
back
I.
in
Yes.
90. I mean, it really honestly, those things are so much fun. They're just so much fun. I've driven cars literally 4 times more expensive than my old 35-year-old Miata. And I still have more fun in that car than cars that are over $100,000. The great thing about the Miata is, and we're the only country in the world that calls it the Miata. It's the MX-5 every place else. Americans refuse to call it MX-5. Mazda tried with this generation to just call it the MX-5, and they just had to go, no, okay, it's the MX-5 Miata. But the 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 Mazda was one of the oldest architectures at the competition, um, and yet felt fresh, was fun. It's sporty. There was a area with real twisties that we got to drive, and it's a joy.
Yeah.
It really is. It's affordable. The It's available as a retractable hardtop called the RF. If you're buying, go with the soft top. I know people like the security of the hardtop, but the soft top is a better experience. It's a true roadster. It's open. The RF, you feel like you're in a car with a sunroof that's open.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's the sports car that everybody forgets about because it's just kind of been around forever. But
Everybody's
it
had
is
one in their driveway at some point. Any automotive journalist has had one uh, titled in their name at some point in their life, or else it's hard to call yourself an automotive journalist.
yeah, and they always lament the fact they sold it if they
Yep.
did. So, um, going on to the first place winner,
Yeah.
um, the Toyota GR Corolla, which is equally fun to drive and more practical because the Miata only has 2 seats, right? It's a small car. It has a very small trunk. Some of the ergonomics are wonky, but the Corolla could be a family vehicle.
Yeah.
Um, you know, albeit with 300 horsepower and bias adjustable all-wheel drive. There's short of the name, there's very little Corolla in this car. It's all performance car. It's it's a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that makes 300 horsepower. That's insane. It's crazy. Super direct steering, loads of fun, practical. It's a hatchback.
It's you can give this car to your kid and say go to school with it. You might not want to, but you can. You can, and you can
Yeah,
on the way home from school pick up your pick up the dry cleaning and the laundry and pick up this and pick up that and be home by 5 o'clock. You can do that. This is for all intents and purposes, as you said, a family car.
yeah,
Uh, but you can have a heavy family. You can have a lot of big people in your family and get them from point A to point B with relative ease.
yeah.
With you know,
Hey, knowing the teenager that I was, as a dad, I wouldn't give that to my kid because it's extremely powerful. I mean it's got incredible grip, incredible handling, but don't tempt a 17-year-old boy. I
yeah,
mean,
oh,
girls are more responsible. We have to admit that as guys, right?
right, right. Except, well, most of the girls I knew were fine. I knew a couple of wild girls too that at that time they were called girls that were could put any guy that I knew, right in his place when it came to being a wheelman. My sister among one of them.
Ah,
Um, who knows how to handle a car,
yep,
always has, and
yep.
always will.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, you want to move on?
Yeah, let's
Anyways,
let's go with now the best HEV. That is your hybrid electric vehicle. Um,
yes. The
and
industry seems to want to relabel hybrids HEVs for
right,
all the out there that are.
isn't this just a big safety belt? Isn't this just a big airbag? Is this just a big? I have to make somebody feel safe, feel good. So I'm going to relabel them like this and hope that they buy it. When in reality, um, what they're looking for is what am I trying to say? A security blanket. They want people to feel comfortable. So they came up with something that, yes, it does apply to what it does, but it also, you're buying security, you're buying insurance, you're buying a good feeling with these cars, and you're buying a quality car. I mean, our runner up in this car, uh, which was the 26 Kia Sportage Hybrid SX Prestige. Um, I was talking to James from Kia, and to think about this product and where Kia was 20 years ago, 10 years ago,
10 years ago.
10 years ago with their product
Yeah,
is amazing. It's almost it should be not a car company story, but an Alice in Wonderland fairy tale.
yeah. 10 years ago, you and I were saying, hey, don't overlook Kia because they're making really good products with excellent design. In fact, I would say their design is one of the best in the industry, both Hyundai and Kia. But now, to dismiss a car from Kia or Hyundai, it's like, wow, you're only cheating yourself. They make excellent vehicles. The Sportage is terrific. The Sportage is not all that sporty to drive. I mean, it's certainly handles really well, but it's the one that we drove is like near luxury.
Yeah,
It's got heated and vented seats. It's got a really nice sound system. It's got a heated steering wheel. It has the things that people want, and it's just over $40,000. And you got to remember, the average vehicle these days is coming up to $50,000. So
right.
cars are expensive. They always have been. They always will be. But the Sportage will hold 5 people fairly comfortably. Still has a good cargo space. It's their hybrid system is very refined. I was quite impressed with it.
No, and many people said, and I remember this with the electrics, that when it comes to hybrids, when it comes to electrics, yes, Toyota is going to be the person you look to, but do not sell the Koreans short. Do not
Right.
sell
Yeah.
Hyundai, or do not look at them and for a minute think that they are going to be either on the heels or quietly passing Toyota as a company that you want to watch, that you want to look at for innovation, that you want to buy a car from.
Yeah. And it's important to note that the way the hybrid system works with the Korean manufacturers, because Hyundai and Kia share the same architecture and all that kind of stuff, is different than the way Toyota does it. It's like we have the Grand Highlander hybrid in this competition, and its back wheels are turned by an electric motor, whereas the electric motor is embedded into the transmission, and there's a shaft that runs to the back. It uses a geared transmission, so the Koreans feel more like normal cars, as it were.
Yeah.
Normal is doesn't really apply anymore because there's such a wide variety of powertrains and such.
Yeah.
Um,
The
but
best, the best in this category was its cousin, the 2025 Santa Fe hybrid calligraphy all-wheel drive.
Yep,
Again, a vehicle that has so much buzz about it, and punches so far above its weight class.
yeah,
Um, Only because you want luxury, you have luxury. You want an off-road vibe, you can have an off-road vibe. You can have this vehicle, this SUV, in just about whatever you want it to be.
yeah. True. My older brother uh, finally listened to his younger brother for once in his life,
Yeah.
and he was looking at a whole bunch of different SUV crossovers. And I said, would you just humor me and go drive this car? Because I think it's exactly what you want. And he bought it. He bought it on the spot after test driving 5 different SUVs. It's really good. Uh, Granted, some people don't like the box design, right?
Right.
Okay, fine. I rather like it. I think it's got a little bit of that Land Rover, Range Rover, Defender look to it.
Yeah.
It sort of looks like a Ford Flex, which I always thought was a super cool car.
I
But
always thought one of the best cars out there, one of the
my
coolest.
my other brother has a Ford Flex, so
Good. So
there you
you're
go.
keeping the bloodlines in the family.
Yes. But it's a great vehicle. It like the Sportage, even a little bit more so. Borderline luxury vehicle, all sorts of cubbies, dual charge ports, so husband and wife are not fighting over that. It has 3 rows. I am 5'9". I am okay in the way back in the third row. I think if anybody's looking for, a very roomy 5-passenger vehicle, or, needs that third row in an emergency, it's an excellent vehicle. And I'm trying to remember the price. I think it was like $42,000,
Yeah.
43. It's reasonably priced for what it is. And people say, well, Hyundais and Kias, they're not as cheap as they used to be. Well, they abandoned that, a good 5 years ago. They're really going more for value for the dollar rather than cheap, affordable price. And I think that's actually pretty smart.
Well, yeah, if you fill somebody's bag up, they go home from the supermarket a little bit happier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you put 3 items in their bag, no matter how good they taste, they don't go home too happy. You put 8 or 10 items in their bag, and they're good tasting items.
Yeah. Yep.
They walk out with a smile on their face, and they think they got something.
Yeah.
Um,
Battery electric.
yes, battery electric. Why don't you go with the runner-up, and I'll take the winner.
The runner up was hang on for a second. No, you do the runner up.
Okay, the 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona Scat Pack
How could I
track
forget?
package
Yeah.
for battery electric vehicle. That is the winner, the runner-up in that category, which ought to make our good friend Scott from Stellantis very, very happy. Should
Yes.
make some of the people at Stellantis very happy. I don't know if it's going to make the general public very happy, but it's a heck of a car. I think it could have been better. Yeah, they could probably done some things to it to make it better, but as it stands today, it ain't bad.
Yeah. And then there's always software fixes and all that. Though I didn't find the software, the brief amount of time I spent with it. That was the surprise to me of the competition. Because the Dodge Charger, the EV version, because it will be available with, ICE. It Everybody just talks about the sound. Oh, it's got fake engine sound. Blah, 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 blah. The reality is, I got into that thing, and the interior is really dramatic. The ambient lighting in that vehicle is off the charts cool. People might buy it just for that.
Yeah.
But it handles really well. It's got great performance. Also, it's a hatchback. It looks like a two-door coupe, but it's got a hatch. It's almost as useful as an SUV. And the sounds are kind of fun. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
I've
Just
never had a problem
have
with
a
the
little
sound. Some
fun. You
people
can turn
do.
them off if you don't like it.
I said this in the preamble of the opening of the show. We, as an industry, we gotta, the graybeards in our industry, which sometimes I include myself, sometimes I don't. We got to get off this thing of this is how it used to be when I used to race down the Connecting Highway in 1964. So anything besides that is blasphemous.
Yeah.
It's just not reality. The person that's being born today in a hospital 18 years from now are not going to worry about what the sound was at the Connecting Highway or how you got the sound.
Yeah.
They're going to be concerned that they have the sound available to them at the touch of a switch. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. And we got to get out of this whole thing of, if it doesn't come from piston power, it's not,
Right.
different vehicles are powered different ways.
Right.
And that's just reality. And other countries have come to accept that.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
I own an EV, so you're preaching to the choir. But
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that the Northwest Automotive Press Association writers had an open mind, right? Because we have older writers, we have younger writers, and I was impressed. The one thing about the Charger that I'm not so crazy about is that's a big vehicle. It's
Yeah.
wide and it's long. As I said in my video, I would like that car in 9/10 scale. I would just like it a little bit smaller.
It's a lot of car. I
It
park
is.
each one of the cars. I try to find a parking space
Yeah.
and actually parallel park as many of the cars as I can.
Right.
And it was one on my list of why did I start to do this?
Yeah.
It was some effort, even with cameras and with beeps and different sounds coming out of places I never thought I'd hear a sound come out of. It was it was some work. It was you got some arm stress, some arm tiredness when you finish parking that vehicle. Your best battery electric vehicle.
The Hyundai Ioniq 9 calligraphy, all-wheel drive. Very impressive vehicle. It is a 3-row SUV, and it's built on the eGMP platform that all Hyundai and Kia battery electrics, well, not all, but most, um, are built on. Its sister would be the Kia EV9. Looks nothing like
Right.
the EV9 inside and out. You would never know those two vehicles are cousins. But it has a more formal, more luxury look to it, especially the calligraphy. Plenty of room in all of the seats. 311 miles of all electric range. Charges incredibly fast when you're DC fast charging for trips. 350 kilowatts. That's its max charge rate. That's like Lucid. That's faster than Porsche.
Yeah.
It's really good. What can I say? I was privy to the voting. It won. Just it took the category.
Yeah, and no reason it shouldn't have. My
Yeah.
eye just kept going to that vehicle everywhere it was, whether it was pulling in the garage, whether it was passing me on the road, whether it was just sitting there. My eye kept being attracted to that vehicle.
Yeah.
From the first second I saw it, for the
Yeah.
first second I looked at it, my eye kept going to that vehicle, and that's what a dealer is looking for, right? When they try to sell you a car, how it sits on the floor, how it attracts the person coming into their showroom. That's what they're looking for, right?
Right. Yeah. And if you're looking at it, Hyundai uses this pixel design, lots of little squares. There's probably 1,500 little pixels all over. And the front fascia has this black, where the grill would normally be. But if you look through it, there's kind of a clear coating. And underneath that, it's got depth where you've got pixels happening there as well. It's a really neat design trick. And in the back, there's a light bar that looks sort of like almost like the Rivians that deliver your Amazon package. And the Ionic 9 badging is embossed into the back, but then they put letters in it. It's a very rich look. It wouldn't look out of place on a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. It's the little design elements on that are off the charts good.
And finally, not finally, but our general categories, the best value. I'll take the runner-up on this, and you can have the not too surprising winner. The runner-up on this one was the Kia Sportage Hybrid SA Prestige all-wheel drive. We've gone through this vehicle before, back in the best HEV, and it is just when it comes down to laying down your cold hard cash, your cheap grandfather would be happy that you bought this car. He'd say, "Your son, you spent your money well on this car."
Yeah, he would have probably said, "You shouldn't have bought the fancy trim. You could have saved $5,000 and gone with the regular trim." But hey, live a little. Typically people keep their cars for a long time these days. So, but the winner, which kind of validates my full review that I did on this car back about 3 months ago, was the all-new 2026 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line, which is all-wheel drive. I heard people talking in the garage where we were staging out of, and people just couldn't get over the driving dynamics, the exterior design, the interior, which is what you stare at the most, right? I mean, you walk up to your car, but what you're looking at all the time is the interior. The interior is near luxury. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to find that grade of materials and design in an entry-level Audi.
Yeah,
nice. It's roomy. It's got cargo space. They've added some buttons to it. Volkswagen rightfully got criticized for doing all haptic surfaces and all that sort of stuff. They've added buttons back. They're listening. It could be a little faster, and they're rectifying that engine. That engine will get an upgrade this fall.
but it's a vehicle that I remember saying I do this thing every year where we do the 5 cars I did not want to give back at the end of
Uh-huh.
the year. That's my year end thing, and I didn't want to give this one back in the summer. I didn't want to give this back the minute I
Yeah.
started driving it. It was everything that you wanted that type of vehicle to be. It
Yes.
was all laid out there for you. All you had to do was write the check out, pick up the car, put the plates on it, and go.
Yep.
It was just done. Volkswagen can still figure things out, which I will come back to in a matter of mere moments. But the Tiguan SEL R line was, just a fantastic vehicle. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. You tell me if you did. I couldn't find, except for that little haptic button thing, which is getting fixed. Couldn't
Yeah.
find anything.
Yeah.
Why don't and for our vehicle of the year, the Drive Revolution 2025 vehicle of the year, the runner-up and the winner. Let me put out the runner-up, and then you tell me, and then you can do the winner. The runner-up is a car that consistently appears on every top list of every kind of competition that we do with this kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
it just and when you look across the different associations that do it, this car is always. I've never seen this car get into a situation where people have said, well, I just don't see that as a car I would go out and buy, or I don't see it just seems it seems to be a car that just should and does knock everybody else's jock off. Yet when you compare him to Darth Tesla, it for whatever reason it doesn't seem to have the hold on the American public that the Tesla does, and that is the Lucid, that wonderful
The Lucid Air
Lucid,
Pure.
Lucid Air Pure.
Yeah. Gorgeous car inside and out. Excellent range, excellent efficiency. Uh, it's and yeah, Lucid, we were trying to get a Gravity, but it was a reminder that do you need the Gravity SUV? Because the Air is incredibly spacious. It's very efficient with its use of packaging. It's got a huge trunk. It's got storage in the nose frunk. The back seat is like a California King. It's huge. In fact, maybe too big because you'll just rattle around back there. It would be great for livery. I love the design of that, and I was talking to the Lucid rep that was there, and I recently bought a used Porsche Taycan, and it was a hard choice between those two. And ultimately, I chose the Porsche just because I followed the development that over years. I mean, I knew about it before anybody even knew about it. Porsche kind of embedded me into that. So for me, it was like the ultimate souvenir of something that I covered. But it's a really hard choice. And before I get off track, I'm going to get off track and just say, remember, folks, if you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, especially a very expensive one, off lease, killer deals. Okay. You can get these cars for half the retail price. And sometimes they only have 15, 20,000 miles. And that's nothing for an EV. It really isn't. Batteries don't go bad. That's a myth.
Right.
Okay. But anyways, Lucid Air. If it's off your radar screen, it should be on your radar screen. It's a terrific vehicle. The winner, I'll let you do it. It's your show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the 2025 NWAPA NWAPA Drive Revolution Vehicle of the Year is the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 all-wheel drive performance calligraphy.
Yep.
It is clearly, as I said, it sits in a parking garage by itself and makes you stop and look at it.
Yep.
It's as simple as that, and that is what every dealer, whether they tell you that or not, is what they're striving for. They
Yeah.
want that car that will stop you in your tracks.
Yeah. And I think we've neglected to say that it is now made in the United States at the Georgia Meta plant.
Yeah,
And
these days, that's an important thing to say, isn't it?
all the marketing is made in America,
Yeah.
but also has a native NACS port, what we have come to know Tesla as, but it has the NACS port. So for me, I'm like, yeah, that's great. There are adapters, and I'm not so concerned about that, but a lot of people are. Uh, yeah. Again, we've gone over the Ionic 9. It's a really nice vehicle. If you need to haul a lot of people and you need to do it comfortably, quietly, because that thing is library quiet, and smoothly, it's really hard to beat one, any electric vehicle, two, the Ionic 9, just because it
Right.
it can seat up to 7 depending on the model.
And if you're not afraid of answering questions, because I guarantee you, when you drive that vehicle, when you park it, when you go down to the waterfront down here in Edmonds and stop and just sit there and watch the sunset, you will not watch another sunset in your life alone. You will be sitting there and answering questions about that vehicle, about what it is, where it is, how did it get here, who makes it, and every
Yeah.
other possible question that you can come up with. People, for some reason, are attracted to that car, attracted to the way it sits, the way it's parked, uh, the way it looks from the outside, and as you said before, most importantly, the way it looks from the inside. I've never had more people ask me to sit in a car than that car, except for one time I had a Tesla rental, and I had a lot of people ask me they wanted to see the big screen in the middle of the dashboard.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
show them shiny objects, and you know what happens.
Yeah.
Uh,
And let me just say this as just a recap before I have to go.
yeah,
Um, One of the great things about Drive Revolution is there are 15 cars, and we drive a lot of cars during the year, but it's driving them back to back. And consumers really won't have that opportunity unless they go to an auto show where they can do that. I'm a huge fan of people going to an auto show. It is the most effective way to research a vehicle because everything's fresh
yeah.
in your mind. But it really struck me how, because there were hybrids there and there were ICE cars there, it really struck me how smooth and how powerful and how quiet the EVs were. And I think at the end of the day, that's what people want, right? I mean, luxury cars have always been about power, smoothness, refinement. And if you can charge where you sleep, right, where you're living, they're less expensive to fuel up. It's I really wish there wasn't so much bad information out there and so many myths. I've lived
Yeah.
with EVs for 3, 4, 5 years now, and it's once you experience it and you realize you don't need anything more than 250 miles of real range, you kind of never go back. If you can charge at home, that's important. It's really important.
You can live with an EV a lot easier than you think it would. A lot less. You can live with an EV for a lot less hassle, problems,
Yeah.
or strangeness than you think. It is really a very easy vehicle to live with once you actually learn the simple basics of it. And in a future show, we'll go into that. So just to quickly recap, the best ICE vehicle, the Toyota GR Corolla Premium Plus, the best HEV, the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid Calligraphy all-wheel drive, the best BEV battery electric vehicle, the 26 Hyundai Ioniq 9 all-wheel drive performance Calligraphy. The best value was the Tiguan SEL R-Line. And the vehicle of the year, the 2025 vehicle of the year, is the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq all-wheel drive performance Calligraphy. That is the top vehicle of the year according to our voting. Votes are truly a secret ballot that nobody really knows, except I think Tom, because he's got to count them all. So thank you to everybody who participated in this big soiree that we had down there in Southern Washington.
Yeah, it's a big event. We rely on the manufacturers to bring the vehicles. We ask every manufacturer to bring them. Not everybody does. Page One and Drive Shop, they're the logistical teams. Could not do this event without the team. Both of those teams, they're truly amazing.
Right.
And there's a lot of NUAPA members that many hands make light work. And I really, it's a great organization. The manufacturer reps there were very impressed with the event and very impressed with the caliber of writing. These are writers from Car and Driver. They're North American Car and Truck of the Year Award members. Not all of them are household names, but they're very good at what they do.
Tolkien wasn't a household name either, was he? If I remember right.
Who?
That guy with the hobbits.
I couldn't get through that book, but
yeah, no, I couldn't either. But he was the first author that came to my mind for some reason. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Can I go with him? He was
sure.
F. Scott Fitzgerald. He wasn't a household name either when he was writing his books, but he sure became one, didn't he?
Yep, Stephen King.
There you go. But he was a guy. He was a guy with a tilt for cars. He likes his cars, Stephen King.
Yes, that's true.
My good friend Tom Volk, thank you very much for taking some time and doing this with me. I really appreciate it. I know you did it on short notice, and our organization is in good hands when they're in your hands. I really appreciate the work you do, and I look forward to Mudfest coming up in just a mere matter of months.
Yes, yeah. We need to get on that. We need to start organizing that. So
I'm available to help, Tom. I got plenty of time, and I would love to help.
Okay, thanks, Vinny.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. Tom Volk, our president of the Northwest Automotive Press Association. Thank you so much for listening to this special edition of Drive Time. I hope you got out of it what you needed. I hope that if you are a manufacturer's representative, that you were able to hear your name called as one of the winners. There are awards that we give away, actual physical awards. You are being notified today of your winning. If you had no access to this broadcast or didn't listen to this broadcast, you will be notified, and you will get a nice little thing to put in your office or your conference room, or wherever you keep those pieces of hardware. But thank you so much to all the manufacturer reps. Thanks to the journalists. Thank you to all of the people from all of the venues that we used. Thank you especially to the people that had to go in and convince their manufacturers, their OEMs this year, that we should spend some time and some money in the Northwest with NUAPA because they do a good job of putting our product out there, showing the people in the Northwest what we have to offer them as far as vehicles, and that the Northwest is alive and well when it comes to new vehicles. And again, I appreciate your watching this morning. We will catch up with you on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock for another edition of Drive Time. A quick word that the Yo Vinny, what are you driving this week? Is the 2026 4Runner, which is, boy, I'm having fun in this thing. I'll tell you what, it is. I can't wait to tell you about my travels and travails in the 4Runner. This is a fun vehicle to drive, and it is a vehicle that I will let you know in no uncertain terms that it holds every bit of what the original 4Runner did back in the 80s, and develops it to a level of greatness. It is one of the original all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive SUV, call them what you want. It is everything that you want it to be, the Toyota 4Runner. And we'll tell you more about that coming up this weekend on the upcoming edition of Drive Time. I'm New York Vinny. Thank you so much for listening to the radio program, and we will see you on Saturday morning at 11, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Please don't forget to listen to Michael Nightline tomorrow morning at 10:10 for another edition of Mikey and Vinny Take on the World. We hope that there will be a world left for you tomorrow morning to take on. Have a very good, very, very good rest of your Tuesday. And thank you for listening. And we'll see if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, kids. Bye-bye.